Moo and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tron. I am Brent Robinson, and we got a full roster tonight. So let's start with Sean Fogenberg. Sean, what are you drinking?
Got the post race recovery shake and also a Stone Fear Movie Lions hazy double.
Nice. All right, let's go to Steph Chen. Steph, what are you drinking?
I'm having a try. Didn't do a race, but I did a workout earlier today, and I'm having a Thrive Peak sports recovery alcohol-free beer thing. An IPA from here in brewed in locally in Belgium. Uh, yeah, it's a sports beer with non-alcoholic with some protein in it.
A beer with
Quite nice.
protein. Cool. All right. We also have Chris Greenland. Chris, what are you drinking?
Yeah, I love that the Belgians would come out with a sports beer. Um, there was never any doubt. It's a Miller Lite after Bologna today. And when that's empty, I've got an Elysian hazy IPA.
It's not Bologna if you don't crack open a beer at the top, right?
That was my thinking. One hill, one beer.
Didn't you have to go up twice?
No, no, it's just one lap up and down.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah, pleasant surprise.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
was I was incorrect last week.
I thought you had it right too. That's how I interpret it. Well, I'm sure someone will straighten us all out about it. Marie-Aline de Vlaire, what are you drinking?
I've got a really nice Imperial Stout, barrel-aged BA Baracus beer. So it's a really good one.
I'm sorry, did I just hear B.A. Baracus?
Yeah, it's called a BA Baracus. It's
I
by
pity
a
the fool.
local brewery here. I think it's Apeldoorn, Rock City Brewery.
Sorry,
And
Marie-Aline, the reason we're all laughing is because B.A. Baracus was a character on a TV show called
yeah,
The
I know.
A-Team in
Yeah, I
1987.
know. But they named the beer after him.
Oh, really? Amazing. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Does the can come with like a big gold chain around it or?
It was, yeah, it had some similarities, I think.
Amazing. Awesome. And last but not least, for sure on this episode, Craig Martin, are you still breathing?
I am still breathing. I had a really cool beer picked out, but I am not drinking it. I am currently drinking a Timmy's. So
Oh, that's unfortunate. All right. And
the
I've
cool
got
beer was Bob Kagan Brewery. So
oh, nice.
yeah. So for those who are hip fans
Yeah.
or Canadians,
I was gonna say
that might be the same thing.
for our international audience, the Tragically Hip are a Canadian rock band big in the 90s, and they had a hit song. Well, even actually Pop Cajun isn't even that popular song, frankly, but it is like a cult classic.
Apparently that B.A. Baracus beer is actually brewed in San Diego. So
Oh,
No, this is the Dutch version.
okay,
It's a Dutch brewery.
got it.
And I have tea because A, my office is freezing, and B, I'm at work. So, with all of that, we alluded to this earlier. We had two racers in the Herd Winter Racing race one. The course is a full lap of Bologna, I guess is the best way of putting it, or it's a lap plus back to the start line. Is that basically the finish is at the start? Am I getting that right?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
pretty close.
a lap and a half. I think officially the lap is up the climb. That's the end of the first lap, and then you go back down. So I put it in the spreadsheet as a lap and a half, but yeah, it's not really clear with Bologna.
Bologna has the worst lap markers in the game, so it's entirely fair.
16K of Bologna, I'll put it that way.
16K. Perfect. Good. All right. Let's start with Chris. Chris, how did Bologna go for you today?
Well, I finished. It was good. It's the first time I've done Bologna in a while. It's a group race, right? So draft is on. There's a nice group taking it relatively easy to the base of the climb, and then you just settle into whatever power you're gonna do. They kind of sold out at the end to get up to a wheel. I caught Loris in the last like 300 meters before we got to the top of the hill, just so I'd have a descending buddy and somebody to share the work with on the flats back to the finish line, and just tucked in and finished. But I mean, it's Bologna, right? So it's mostly flat, maybe a little bit downhill to the base of the climb, and then straight up, and then just save yourself and try to power through the end. I don't know what else to say about it behind that. It's net flat. I guess we'll give it that.
It is net flat.
So I just logged into Strava to take a look at the segments, and the Bologna climb has been flagged as a hazardous segment on Strava.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
That must be for the descent.
No, it's the climb.
Yeah, it's hazardous.
Hazardous condition or danger inherent to such segment.
Yeah, I think that qualifies.
Yeah.
I actually think somebody has gone through and flagged all the Zwift segments, because somebody said something about the Epic KOM segment having been flagged too.
Interesting.
Yeah, how did the race go for you, Sean?
Hard. Having I'm coming off an illness, and the pace in that group for the flats was just hard enough. It was threshold or just above. I think I did the same power on the flats as I did on the climb, and so that's rough. And I think that there is something to be, I mean, it's a discussion. I don't know. I think that the answer really is try and stick with the group as long as you can. But there is a question about, like, when do you drop off the group to try and kind of save something for the climb? Or do you just give whatever you have left? Because you can lose a lot of time on the climb.
Yeah, for me, the answer is when those like 3% little kickers started happening. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to push on here. That's not worth it.
And that's when the front really did start pushing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like kind of around like kilometer 5 there when you get to like that little steppy up bit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think I fell off the group probably at like 5.2. I think Chris then, like, as I was 5 seconds back or something, Chris was like, bye, y'all.
Later.
And how hard were you having to go like into threshold to hang on?
I was already over threshold.
Oh yeah. It's only for a kilometer, but even then threshold in there is, if you're already threshold, it's going to be a long climb.
Yeah. And the people that I had already marked as like, these are probably the people that, like, given where I'm at condition wise, these are the ones I'm watching. They were also falling off the group at that point. I was like, fine, I'll just sit back and do the climb with them. And I think that is like, there is kind of a natural sorting right around that point where if you are near the back of the group there, you look around and it's like, okay, it's the other people that I expect to be around. If they're willing to drop the group, like, let's give ourselves a little bit of a respite right before we have to do this 10-minute climb.
Yeah, it looks like on Strava, like all the flat bits, I was averaging about 250 watts. The whole flat section was 263, so I pushed on a little bit on the rises, but not really. And then for the climb itself, I was able to hold 320. And that netted out to a pretty decent race for me.
Yeah, I was at like 267 on the flat part and 260 something on the climb. So, like,
and that's really not how you want to do it, right?
Correct. Ideally,
Correct.
you have something left so that you can go harder on the climb, but you know, in this situation, it's you might just that might just be where you're at, is you're going easier on the climb because you've already spent your effort getting to the climb with the group.
I wonder if you went like 240 on the flat and let the group go and then did a stronger climb, but didn't have the draft on the flat. Would that have been a better race time for
I think
you, or
you
no?
lose. I think you lose more time on the flat because the group is really
They
trucking.
were motoring. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you would have finished, you would have been on the climb 30 seconds back or something probably if you only
Yeah.
averaged 240.
Yeah.
And like, even if you went to 280 or 290,
So pacing
like,
on this is much different than like a TT, right?
Yeah.
Because you do have the draft to consider. That's interesting. I don't know. I just put my head down and pedal, but yeah, super interesting. What bike did you ride? I wrote Pinktron.
Ron,
Tron, yeah.
I think there's not much of an argument for anything else, I don't think. I mean, yeah, given the fact that you have to then come back, so there might be an argument for a climbing bike, but that's going to help you get to the top with the group, but then the rest of the race is downhill and then flat.
Yeah, I think if you know that you're going to easily hang on to the group on the flats, you could go climbing bike if that's giving you an advantage on the climb. But if it's not, I don't think it's that big of a difference.
yeah, I think the challenge is going to be is anyone who's that strong that they're going to be able to hold their natural group on the climb is going to want a Tron or Arrow for the finish,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like the odds of you being like strong enough that the climbing bike makes like 4 seconds difference or 5 seconds difference to get up to the group ahead, you're probably going to just finish last in the sprint if you're on it against those
Yeah, or if
guys.
you even try to break away on the climb, you still have to hold it to the finish. So
Yep.
yeah.
And like, I don't know, is everyone getting the same power up at the top, or
No,
is it
it's a
just
standard.
okay,
It's
standard rules?
the standard
So-
power up, so you can get an arrow, feather, or a draft power
Yeah,
up.
so I got an Arrow, and like you can make up a lot of time coming back down that hill if you go hard at the beginning and then get an Arrow. I think I was going 110 down the steep part.
Ooh.
Like,
Damn. And you get two power ups too if you pop it after you cross in the uphill direction. If you pop it real quick, you'll get one coming back the other way. Something to keep in mind.
With my luck, I'd get 2 feathers.
That's true. Yeah, if you get a feather, probably just hang on to it, because that last bit to the finish line is a little bit uphill.
I was gonna say, yeah, you'd have to hold it right till the end.
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, I'm gonna try and get into race 2 this afternoon. So everybody else well, Craig, we'll talk about why you're not racing it. Maryline, you plan on doing this race this weekend?
Yeah, I hope
Better.
I can fit it in. Yeah,
Good.
might go
Step.
outside coming days, but yeah, should be sometime.
Steph, I know you're doing long stuff this weekend, probably, eh?
Yeah, I've endurance rides, and the thing I have with my trainer, I did get climbers gambit incorporated. So on the Saturday I'm doing 2 hour endurance rides somewhere, probably late afternoon, and then in the evenings at 8 o'clock my time. I think that's race 3 of climbers gambit. Usually the usual hour I usually do it. Should be fun.
Cool. All right. Let's move on to herd beginner racing. It is Two Bridges loop. For how many laps are we doing this week? Looks like 2 laps, Two Bridges loop, 21.9 kilometers, 3 laps for the faster C and D groups. That's the full 21.9. 14.6 kilometers for the slower group. So Two Bridges loop is so herd beginner racing is our D category, only broken down into 3 subgroups below that, and it's a scratch race. Two Bridges loop is downtown Watopia
Through the S's,
through the S's.
past the sprint, and then you go up and do the first part of the reverse KOM, but you do the bypass and then come back downtown.
Yep. Yeah, so there's kind of 2 climby bits. The S, kind of
The little
all
punch.
the S's, especially the punch, and then the start of that KOM is definitely going to be a push, especially in the D race.
Yeah, both laps, you're probably going to have things splitting up there, and then kind of depending on how those groups split apart and whether people are pushing in between, you might have things come back together or kind of splitting for good.
Yeah. So
the last one is like 1K ish from the finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
It's a difficult one if to keep to keep away. I remember doing it only 2 laps. I got away on the first time. Didn't plan on getting, but starting off the S's had a pretty good lead, but I just faded, and the rest caught me on that second kick of the on the bypass. So game over, but can be tricky because it's 7 kilometers, so it's pretty tricky to keep away by yourself. So I think save some on the first two climbs, and if you have anything left, go on that last kicker.
Yeah, it's gonna be fast downhill to the finish, so that's part of the trick. I mean, it's fast, so it doesn't take nearly as long, but it also means the group behind you is coming with steam behind you if you're out the front. Yeah, if you're really new to racing, maybe like if we really have like some new people who don't understand anything about bike racing or bikes or all this, when the hill goes steep, everybody goes slower, so the draft effect is less. So it's easier to like push the other guys behind you off the back. So what you'll find, and in any bike race, is that the steeper the road gets, the harder everyone starts pedaling, because if the people can't match the pace, they fall off the back, compared to if you try that in the flats, someone can basically stay the same pace as you at like 75-65% as much effort. So that's why if you're really new to racing, you'll find when you get to these hills, everybody's going to pedal hard, so be ready for it.
And it is a natural attack point on that loop anyways.
So yeah, I don't time 7K, probably going to average about 10 minutes a loop, I think. Be pretty close to that. Maybe a little less, maybe a little slower than that, closer to 12 minutes.
10 to 12.
Yeah. Good. So if you're new to racing and you're listening this first time, welcome to the herd. Have fun, and you feel free to ask us any questions.
Can I just say something I just thought of?
Yes.
This would be a much better race course if if there was a lead in and the start finish was at the sprint. Oh, but you don't go through the sprint banner, do you?
You do.
Yeah, you do. But
Oh yeah.
So it's got the good, like the sprint banner finish with the good sprint line finish. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, custom finish distance.
Yeah, but custom distance, I'm still skeptical on how custom distances work. especially with steering.
Well, what would make it really fun is if you could stick the custom. Oh, I see that it doesn't like because people's distances then change because of their steering and stuff. Yeah, that's a pain. Yeah, I'd be really curious though if you put the custom finish, like assuming it worked. Let's start with that. If you could move that finish line to like right right at the start of the bridge or just a little bit onto the bridge instead of the back end of the bridge, because now that sprint line gets really, really interesting. Timing that descent off that kicker would be very interesting. But yes, I agree with you, Craig. That would make for a much more interesting finish than the downtown finish, which is actually kind of boring, frankly.
I'd argue this finish is also quite good because there's always someone who tries on the downhill. There's always someone who goes long. So from the moment you start to climb, you'll know there's going to be action all the way to the finish line.
That's a fair point. Yeah, it's definitely a good finish. Like the hill to the end is good. But the actual like the sprint segment from like the overpass to the finish is kind of flat.
Yeah, it is.
Cool, cool. Well, welcome to if you're doing this and you're a new beginner and you're out doing it, awesome. Post any questions in the chat. People will help you out. That's what we're here for. That brings us to Climber's Gambit, Chris.
It does. Hang on. Just seeing what I wrote into the schedule for this week.
It looks like you did something
Everybody's
very,
favorite
very
climb.
terrible.
Oh, this is your
Everybody's
favorite. This is
climb.
the Brent Robinson special. Temple climb twice. So it'll be 14K of the Kappa Quest course, which will take us up Temple climb twice. As a reminder, Climber's Gambit is our hill climb series where the only thing that matters is your actual time up the climb segment. And for our New Year's Revolution series, it is the combined climb time for multiples. So this is 2 times up Temple climb forward. So we will start at the first time at about 1.3K and go around and hit it again at about 10.4. So a little bit of an interlude. You get a little bit of a recovery period in between and then back up the dirt. Any complaints, please direct them to Brent Robinson for this week. He will be fielding all comments, concerns, and complaint department.
Which direction is the Temple KOM?
It is the forward for this week. We will do reverse next week. So forward is the longer one, the one that we have done most recently as part of the Sea to Tree course.
Okay. So the one that like there's a little roller to start, and then it
Correct.
goes kind of up through the like little bamboo forest.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
And then
the reverse one is the one when you start after the town, the castle village thingy.
Yep. So this week we'll be turning a gradual right over that, wooden plank section and then on to the finish line tree. And then next week on the reverse, it'll be a left-hand hairpin and then into the tree.
This is an interesting one in terms of since it's 2 laps. Again, you've got to get the pacing right. You probably times are like Chris did a 6:14 in December. I did a 6:36. So somewhere in the A's are probably going to be in the high 5s. If you're doing one all-out effort, I would say like if Chris is doing 6:14 on one all-out effort, probably somewhere in the 6:25 range, try and get 2 6:25s or like 6:30s is probably a good goal. Somewhere in that range, like taking 10-15 seconds off of your time.
I'm just gonna try to do 2 615s, Sean.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. A 615 and a 715. Got it.
Can't imagine why I hate this climb. My best time on this is a 649.
Yeah, this is one of the few climbs in the game that I've got a better time than Brent on.
It is dirt, right? So we're going specialized crux and whatever gravel wheel set aftermarket you got.
Yeah.
Um,
Brent, this is probably the difference is so Chris and I got our new PRs in December after the gravel rolling resistance update.
Yep, I definitely have not ridden this since the update.
well, you
Or
should
at
come
least
on out this weekend.
hard.
Post a new best time, Brent. Post
Maybe.
2 of them.
Two
How about
new
that?
best times.
Yeah. There you go. We'll see everybody there.
Yeah, it's been an interesting series. Last week was also quite an interesting one because you didn't have, unlike this week, you didn't have that much recovery. Basically, 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes, and then about the same, a 3-4 minute effort. So yeah, it's going to be interesting pacing
Yeah, and
wise.
what I was gonna say too is I feel like it starts a little bit flattish,
Yeah,
and then there's kind of a steep section, right? Till you get like up underneath a little Japanese pagoda little looking thing.
yeah.
The
At-
the
If I see
temple.
the if
Well,
I see the profile,
yeah, I
it's a bit
guess.
indeed rollery. You get up a bit down, then quite a long section up, then it's flattened out a bit. Again, a steeper part, and then it's flattened out again near the top. So
So if you're really trying to optimize your effort, you try and squeeze a little harder the steeper it gets.
Yeah, there are a few steep parts that you really can attack. And the last part is quite flat, so I think you can gain a lot of time there also if you can keep pushing. But it's mostly the steep parts because the speed is not very high in the dirt.
Yeah.
You can win a lot of there.
Yeah, so the full climb is 2.5K at 3.6%. But if you add up all of the flat segments, there's probably 750 meters of actual flat, meaning that you've got 1.75K of climbing that is somewhere in the 4 to 7% range. But then like the average gradient is brought down quite a bit by all of that flat. So yeah, go hard on the hard parts.
All right. And we'll see you all out there. Maybe. All right. That brings us to the Stampede. And this is actually the last race. And this one we're going to do going coastal for 15.9 kilometers. Just one lap of the going coastal. That's on the new one. New stuff. I think it starts at the Jungle Pens. Oh no, sorry, Fago Flats. So we're gonna go through the desert first. Got the wrong one. So yeah, desert pens, through the desert, off the desert, and then a little bit of the rolly stuff ending at the what sprint is that called? Sasquatch Sprint Verse. So
Wait, is this for mountain goats?
nope, Stampede. Oh, did I skip
Stampede.
mountain goats? Oh,
Okay.
sorry. We'll do mountain goats after. We're
Yeah,
gonna change it up. Sorry, Stampede, going coastal. Yeah, so it's the start at the desert pens, all the Tempest Fugit desert bits, hit the roundabout, hang a right into the forested new part roads, and then just do all the foresty new part rolly stuff, ending at the Sasquatch Sprint. So before we get into the coastal village stuff. So that end bit's kind of rolly.
It took a month and a half, 2 months, however long or I guess it's almost 3 months now since these roads have been out. I was riding along the coastal roads the other day and actually saw the Sasquatch, not just there's like just like big dude all covered in leaves and stuff wandering around off to the right of the road at some point. It was like, oh. And it just like it took me, I think, 7 times up the Alp before I saw the Yeti.
I still don't think I've seen the Yeti, and I've definitely never seen the Sasquatch. So,
Yeah.
although usually that's because I'm like got too much sweat in my eyes. So yeah, I don't think TT bike. It's 16K, so it's gonna be like, especially for Bs and fast Cs. I guess it's gonna be a little longer than 16, right? Because of no, that's from the pens. That's the right distance. I think it's gonna be a little longer than that. Sorry, Zwift Insider is misleading me, I think, on where it's gonna start. Anyway, might be a little over 16 kilometers if there's a lead in from the pens. It's saying 0 kilometer lead in, but whenever you start in the desert, not in the pens, it's a bit weird.
I think the new routes are all without a lead-in shown. So I think it's actually 16K.
So that's good. So that'll be like, I know for me, that's basically like a 20-minute time trial, pretty well, maybe closer to 23. So this will be a little longer than that. A's might get her done closer to 20. But, so keep that in mind. Your pacing. It's basically a an FTP test, pretty close, a little longer than that. But this is the last one of the Stampede. So if it's 8 out of 10. If you're sitting on 7, get out there, get a race in. And thanks everyone who's been racing Stampedes. We'll get the new brutes up soon. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say about that. Mountain goats. Harrogate World Champs. 1 lap.
3 laps.
3 laps.
3 laps.
Oh, okay. Wow. So the Harrogate course is just all the bits, right? So you do but the Harrogate forward distance doesn't do the wall up, right?
Yeah.
It's the wall down.
Yeah, only down.
Yeah, it's the wall down.
Yeah. So you're gonna do the little loop around the where the sprint section is. I can't remember, Millionaires Row or whatever that part's called. I can't remember what the name of it is. But
Dutchley Estate has a smaller course, but
Duchy Estate, that's the word. And then you're gonna go up Otley Road. Otley Road first. Oh, Otley Road first, down the down the wall.
Bank.
Yeah, down Pot Bank Wall over to the KOM, up the KOM, back down the other side, then do Duchy Estate.
Yeah.
Back over to Otley Road ×3.
Ooh.
That's a long race.
It's a long
It's
race.
mostly a long race. It's not a lot of climbing for Climbers Gambit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
For
the climb,
Mountain
yes,
Goats.
Goat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
by the end of it, it'll be 40K and about 720 meters of climbing. So, I mean, it's a lot of climbing. It's
Yeah.
just there's no big climbs.
No, it's never flat, those routes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough race.
The thing though that's different about this one compared to most Mountain Goats routes, so is like they're all like pretty draftable. Like the KOM is a little tough, but Otley Road is very draftable. Like you just can hang on someone's wheels there all the way. Like I said, the KOM, that can be tough to hold someone's wheel, but all the rest of it, like it's punchy a little bit in some of those spots. Like the lead into Duchy Estate is like a steep 6-7%, but it's only like that for couple hundred meters, and then so you just get into that 2% bit, hold on to someone's wheel. So this, unlike most mountain goats races, which I'm sure just blow apart and people end up all over the course, this one could definitely end up in like groups. Like,
Yeah, I think Otley Road is just steep enough to blow up the group a little bit, or if you have to hang on just above what you can actually do, it's just steep enough to blow it up and to make it a really hard race.
yeah, it should break it up, right? The C's and D's probably won't be holding with the A's up something like Otley Road, but all the A's should stick together. Like it'll be really hard for a fast A to drop another A on Otley Road, or a fast B to
Yeah,
drop
but
another B.
also, if you go up there the third time,
The third time's gonna be ugly.
it's gonna be ugly, yeah.
Well, and the KOM even more so. Like that one for sure is gonna be like the last KOM will be full
Yeah, and
murder.
it's less draftable than Otley Road even.
Yep. And less road after that for you to try and drag someone back. Like you could probably after a 40K race make the break from there if you got time on
Yeah, if you still have the legs.
them.
Is it the last climb that's hard, or is it the first climb that's hard?
Probably
Yes.
all really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
For me, it's always the later parts that get me. Like I can usually punch outside my class early on, but late I get killed. Well, that's good. I think that brings us to Bullseye, which I'm seeing Bell Lap, but I think that's last week. So we might get a new course.
That was last week. Give me a second here. I've been helping Mark out with this, but he set the course. It was definitely Bell Lap this past week, so it's not that.
Helpful.
What's that?
Helpful.
Well,
Well, it probably
something.
won't be that one again, so you can cross it off,
Yeah.
and that narrows it down.
And give me a second.
It's gonna be Downtown Dolphin.
Did Mark do that? No. Okay, so we have not set this week's. So
Okay.
It's still on the Bell app.
yeah.
You should set it to be 2 bridges loop with only the sprint counting at only the sprint
Custom
line.
finish.
What's another classic
Volcano is always good.
Volcano, yeah. Any of the
Like,
crit courses.
yeah.
There should be a new crit course, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say that you can try it on that Castle Crit course.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard that yet. Is it just around the castle town at the top?
Yeah, something like that. I haven't seen the actual course, but I think it's added in one of the last updates.
I think you start from the pens and then go up to the castle, so you have that steep ramp and then around the village and then back up again. I think it's like the last part of the castle, last
good.
steep pitch.
Is this a selectable route? It's Zwiftenssteiger still has it as a rebel route.
It might be. I know that they're gonna do it. It's one of the. I think it's the short course of the last week of Tour de Zwift for the Rebel route. So I don't know. Maybe they only put it out after
Yeah,
that and as an event only thing. I don't know.
usually they only release it after that, or
Yeah.
they make it available after it's been on Tour de Zwift for the organizers.
Yeah, because if not, I definitely would have gone with that.
Yeah, that is a once it's available, that does look like a really great Great course.
I see that lap being used in ladder racing as well. To be honest, it's gonna be the right type of course that can be used.
Well, I always thought those village parts of McCurry were a bit criminally underused. Like they built these villages, but the routes just fly through them. Like even if they put like a little like once around and then it goes out, it would have been fun. So that that's good stuff. Speaking of like though, like terrible starts at the castle, didn't you guys do like the Tour de Zwift Long or the Epic Race or anything? So it's McCurry 40, so which starts into that climb, right? From the is it like Umezi pens? I can't remember what they call those pens, up to the village. And I had forgotten that was the start of McCurry 40. Oh my God, I thought I was gonna die. It was like a epic race. Like I think, oh, I guess it had categories. So it was a B cat race, but like just people going like crazy up there. Um, I did hold the group all the way till we got to the tide pool climb out though.
Oh,
And then
nice.
I died. I can never seem to hold the fast people up that tide pool climb or the wind climb when you go the other direction. It always seems to break me.
Yeah, the just seeing the route again, that's a perfect one for Bullseye. It's gonna be an interesting one because you can have, I think, you have the KOM banner, so maybe there, and right after that, you have the sprint banner as well.
Well, so I'm going to assume that I can't select it for this week. And I just made a decision that this week is 4 laps of Lutece Express. So there we go.
Perfect. Breaking news.
And it
Breaking.
points at both the banner, like the lap banner and the sprint banner then?
Yes.
Ooh, mean. Especially in the Lutece direction, because if you can break people on the hill, you can
it's
try and get them
beautiful.
both
Yeah.
points, but you got to beat them
Double,
down the
yeah.
hill on the other
Yeah.
side.
Can you use the lap banner on the first after the lead-in for Lutece?
Yeah. So I have pulled that off. Not solo for first on both, but to stay away from the group. And I think I got a first and second on the 2 banners, but
On
it's
Bullseye?
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever. I know we definitely broke the group on Bullseye, and then like 3 or 4 of us went away from there. But the best race I think I might have ever had was Lutece in ZRL, where we did it. I think we did it like every lap. We shook the group and then won the sprint.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, and your dog is wearing a sweater.
Is
it that chilly up there?
And she's a little pit bull. She's got no fat. She stands outside and she shivers. It's really pathetic.
Poor thing.
I wish I was cold because I had no fat.
Sweaters for everyone.
Old and grumpy. All
Brent
right.
there today.
Just before we go on, I just want to say next week's Herd Winter Racing and Herd Beginner Racing are both on really classic courses. So HWR Sand and Sequoias, 1 lap of Sand and Sequoias, and Herd Beginner Racing is on TikTok. So both of them will be starting in the desert, and we either go up through Titans Grove or down through Ocean Boulevard, but back the same way to finish.
Love it.
Yeah, those are both great races.
For HWR, is it just 1 lap, San Sequoias? Probably just 1 lap, right? For winter? Yeah. Fantastic. Classic course. One of my favorites.
Hold on. Good stuff. That brings us to Round the Horn. I think we were talking about how we lost fitness
best ways to lose fitness. I mean, I've got a list of, there's getting sick, there's getting injured, there's losing motivation,
Work.
yeah. Just losing time. I've had a couple of those kind of pile up on me at the beginning of the year after getting to, doing 28 hours over Rafa, and then getting sick and not getting to realize those gains. That's really frustrating, which, trying not to lose the motivation part. It sounds like Craig has a different one of the of that list.
You're gently clutching your side there, Craig.
Sean's making me laugh. It hurts.
I think we need the better part of this story. So it's a cycling story, so it's totally on par for Bing Tron, Craig. Like, what, you're trying to like pull like a manual or what?
Oh no, this was not a manual. I was in the air. So I was I went with my older son to the indoor skate park. Obviously with a half-meter of snow on the ground, we're not outdoors. Well, not at the skate park anyway. Anyway, so yeah, I'm on my BMX. There's a pump and jump line. I'm jumping. And the last jump into the corner has a really steep landing. It's probably more made for scooters than bikes, honestly. I don't know what I did. I did something very wrong, and I basically used my nose, jaw, and chest as a brake. And I stopped quickly. And yeah, definitely some bruised lung because I was kind of out of breath at the top of the stairs for about a week. It's been almost 2 weeks now. I'm not that bad anymore, but yeah, that it was not good. I don't think I broke my ribs. I know I didn't break my jaw. I did have an X-ray of my jaw. So anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Like, do you wear your full BMX get up for this, or just the helmet, or even that? Surely that.
I mean, I missed my helmet completely. So my full face helmet was in the car, and I grabbed the other helmet. I don't know why I made that choice, but I made that choice. And yes, I very much wish I had taken my full face helmet into the yard, the indoor skate park here in Ottawa.
Is it because the full face helmet obstructs your Ronald McDonald costume and you didn't want to wear that? Or is it something else?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just decided not to. So yeah. It was a bad decision. A bad decision. And I mean, honestly, I do have a much bigger history in running than in cycling. And when people ask me about running and training, I say, rule one, if you want to get faster, don't get injured so you can keep training. Train more, be less aggressive, don't get injured, and you'll be better off. And yeah, so I did not do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Craig, just by riding BMX bikes, you are not following that rule.
Yeah.
Is there a video of this?
There's no video of this. I
Oh.
would, because I'll say my crash videos do get the most views on my YouTube channel.
Every fail video is always the most popular video.
Yeah.
We should ask. I gotta say, we had Amy and Antoinette on last week, but Maryline, how did your Tour of Boudicca go? We haven't heard how the rest of Boudicca went for you last weekend.
Yeah, the Friday was okay. I finished with one third place. Saturday was a little bit less because I got dropped out of the pen on the Glasgow crit. So it was
Wow.
I've been doing 20 minutes at FTP and I still didn't catch the first group. I did manage to get some points, so I did finish quite okay. And my Sunday was yeah, it wasn't really bad, but I didn't really do very well also. Was Legends in Lava, so was a quite a good course, but I didn't have the legs anymore after 3 days, and it was also around freezing temperature in the garage, so that didn't really help too. And I completely blew up on the volcano. But yeah, I think the rest of us did really well, and I tried to help Gina, who was in the top 10 in the BGC, and I think she finished 6th or 7th, so that was in a strong field, was really good. And
That's
we
a
had
terrific result.
yeah, and I think Claire was doing this out of my head. I think she was 3rd in the C's, and there was a D rider. I can't remember the name at the moment. Who was 2nd in the GC. So and the D's also won the team GC. So it was a really good result.
What were the numbers like? Because it seemed like the Saturday and Sunday races were going to be big if everybody from the Fridays, because it was all grouped together for Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yeah, I think the America's time on Friday wasn't that big. I think we are 15 riders extra in B, so something like 75 or something.
Still, that's a
It's a
really
big field.
nice,
Yeah.
field for a women's race.
Yeah, and yeah, the C field was the biggest. I don't know how big that was, but I think they had over 100 riders signed up.
That's great.
So probably
Yeah, that
some
was a big
that
race.
yeah.
For Glasgow Crit, was it a tactical mistake, fitness mistake? Like, did you like, I'll be fine, and then the start was faster than you expected? Or because I've had that happen on Glasgow Crit, and
it was a fast start, but I just didn't do a good warm up, so the legs just went, nope, we're not doing this. And I just yeah, it was a points race, so everyone was sprinting on the first sprint, and I just couldn't get on anymore.
I think we did that race in ZRL this past season, and I was like, I'll go easy for the sprint, so I have something for the first climb, and like the first climb is better for me. And then you end up spending the entire time to the climb just like trying to get back with the group because the group stretches so much. It's like
yeah.
And
then there forms a few gaps form, and then you don't have any chance to catch up. I think I came until 8 seconds or something, and then I was done.
They talked about that on the wrap this week too, about like when you're doing these points races, the difference between just staying with the group and contesting it is so small. You might as well go, because and that's always been,
because then you actually get to recover after the effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know like in ZRL and stuff, I've had that too, where I think, oh, I'll just like dog the group and come through, and no, I'm better off just to go and, pull a shoot like late if you're not maybe in it, but trying to like just roll through on those sprint segments, especially like long ones, like the Champions one's not too long, except for because it's from the start, it's right from the start. But like I remember a few like alley or railway, I think, oh, I'll just roll through. It's like, no, they're gone.
Yeah, and also the level of riders in B in women's B has been raising a lot. So and in Boudica you get all the riders from all over the world, from all different ZRL leagues together. So there's a lot of really hard competition. Lots
Well,
more than in ZRL.
Yeah, did the women's B category get a change when the men's B category got a change? Because when they did whatever they were doing with cat enforcement and stuff, like that B to A threshold moved, and like B is
Yeah,
a
but
lot
the
harder.
women's B threshold is still a little bit lower than the men's B threshold, but it also moved because they added a little percentage. So yeah, we're seeing where we used to see like max 3.9 watts per kilo for 20 minutes. It's now up to 4.1 watts per kilo. So yeah, it's quite a big difference.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like much, but I could tell you, like after racing B1 for the last 2 seasons of ZRL and doing, I mean, I race B races all the time, and there's just always now 10 to 15% of the field is guys who would have been A before. And so, you've just moved like that stronger group, which is like good. I actually kind of like it because the races are harder and stronger. And now I don't have to feel bad if I'm not getting dusted by the A pluses in A, but you better bring your A game to every B race now.
And
Those are probably
And-
just as hard.
yeah, and you got to bring your B game to every C race, and you got to bring your C game to every D race. Like
That's the problem. I'm bringing my C game to the B race, and that doesn't work out so great.
It's hard. It's the guys are like and they're stronger on different dimensions too, I think. Like I've noticed, I know it's probably been like what, almost 6 months since they made those changes. Like it's been a while now. But not only are like guys have better thresholds, but their peaks are higher, and because they're fitter too, they recover more. So like the hards are harder more often. It's a real, like it's good. It's good to get tougher, but like I say, I'm no longer like a top 10 most B race guy. I'm like a top 25 most B race guy now.
Yeah. On that note, I'm back to C.
and will remain there as long as you continue staying off your bike.
Well, yeah. So I mean, I did go out on the fat bike with the 11-year-old last weekend. So that's at 11-year-old pace. Well within zone 1. So yeah, definitely I felt it quite hard, but yeah, I could do that. But I don't think I'm gonna hit VO2 max in the next few days for sure.
That's probably a softer landing too into the snowbank when you crash. So that's a good idea.
It's a far softer landing. It's if you're gonna crash, I highly recommend crashing on a fat bike in deep snowpack. Yeah.
Into powder, yeah.
All right. We should do, I think we should do one more. Who's doing, we got ZRL starting Tuesday. Steph, you doing ZRL, or you're out of ZRL this go around?
No. It's we usually have workouts on training workouts on Tuesday. So my from time to time, if I have free day, I can be a sub for one of the teams for the team I was in last season, but not committing to it.
Fair enough. Yeah. You can just dial up the course when you set your workout for that day. It'll be like you're in the same thing.
We'll probably be on my own anyways as a low C at the back, trying not to get lost in the races.
Chris, you got ZRL this go around, or you set this one out?
No, honestly, I had no idea there was a new season starting. So in the spirit of bringing my C game to a P race, I am not racing this ZRL series. I got to get some volume in. Like to your point, like meshing up work, overall health, family, and riding, like that's been a challenge over the last couple of weeks. and we've got some actual events that I want to take part in coming up. So I need to get some volume in. I'll probably just like get on and do some pace partner rides a couple of times a week
Gotta get ready
outside
for
of doing
those
like
meat space events.
yeah, so much meat coming up that I need to get some distance in the legs.
You good?
So no ZRL for me.
Marilyn, you doing any ZRL?
Yeah, I will be riding with 2 teams with Little Penguins, and I'll probably also ride with a women's A team. That's a combined team from Team NL and Belgium team.
And when you say you ride 2 teams, you're gonna ride it twice every Tuesday, or just like alternate back and forth, or when they need you, or however the schedule works
Alternate,
out?
and maybe if
Oh, phew, okay.
if it's necessary, I might do a double, but rather do not.
Oh, Craig, you're gonna go heel.
No, he's probably gonna race it, right?
He's gonna
No, I'm out of ZRL. If I might have been talked into a dirt racing series one, but yeah, I'm out of ZRL.
I am back in with the Mustangs probably for 4 races. It looks like we've got a big roster, so that's good. Good. All right. I think with
That's
that,
good.
we will say thank you to Sean Fogenberg. Thank you to Craig. Thank you to Marilyn DeVlager. Thank you to Chris Greenland. Thank you to Steph Etchen. Enjoy your races, everybody. See you out there. Moo and good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.